This is the V4000 series from Harbinger. It's their version that has an incredibly built-in app, which we have right here. It also has app control through a display on the back of the unit. It offers 2,500 watts of power, and we're going to compare it with a whole bunch of other speakers in its genre. So if you're looking for a set of speakers for a bar, pub, or restaurant, and you're looking at entertaining anywhere between 50 to a couple of hundred people, this would be a good way to go. It's easy enough to carry around, and it does a really good job of entertaining people. That's important. If you're a DJ, 100 to 200 people, thinking 50 to 75 people on a dance floor with subs, this would be a really nice option as well. Now, the speaker offers a lot of controls right on the back of it, making it very easy to use all on its own. You do have abilities to hook it up with either mixing board or controller, and using some extra functions that are built into the back, like these stereo link capabilities, which allow you the options to either add just an extra speaker, or you can grow. You can have two on the left, two on the right, plus subs on left and right, all using the features and functions built into the speaker. It makes it for a very smart and a very advanced speaker setup. Now, it does come in a 12 model, which we have today, and a 15-inch model. The 15-inch is slightly louder, but more importantly, the 15 has more throw distance to it. So if you're going to want to have any updated pricing on any of the products we talked about in today's video, the links are down below. They're going to bring you over to Guitar Center. And Guitar Center is where you're going to find all the best prices for all the products we're talking about in today's video. They do offer in-store plus delivery. So please use the link. Thank you very much. So we're going to start right here on the app right away. So first of all, the app is available for Apple products currently at this point. There's no Android available. But the important thing is this speaker also offers Bluetooth on it. So besides having my actual iPad set up, which was, by the way, incredibly easy. There's a straight function on the back. You just tell it that you want to connect the app. You turn that on, start the app, and it just automatically connects. That simple. My Bluetooth for music is hooked up right over here. So when I actually press music on my phone, there you go. It has nothing to do with the actual tablet or the functionality. So yes, music on my phone via Bluetooth, app on the iPad, and again, this is an Android phone, and this is an Apple tablet. So that's very cool. Now, to cover the overall app, everything you can do here, you can do a little bit more on the app than you can just on the back of the speaker, but it does give you a lot of simplicity. And the big thing about the app, the real big thing about the app, is once you're using it, you can stand 24 feet in front of your speakers in the middle of the dance floor or the restaurant, tweak it, make adjustments right there on the tablet, listening to your speakers as front of house, even though you're the only person there to do that. Turn up your speakers, get your levels, go in the front with your tablet. You can do all the front of house adjustments right there. Get all your volume set up right there, no problem. Great for DJs, awesome for bands. If you're a single performer, you couldn't ask for anything more. Play some music as a backtrack on the Bluetooth, so you can actually go into the middle of the listening area, do some adjustments, hear what it's going to sound like, and you're all set to go back on stage, perform, knowing you did a good job. So back to the functionality of the app. Now this is really nice. You get a bunch of preset functions, but you can also build your own. So right now I'm just going to save. Now the other thing is, how does this actually work? I mean, it's all nice and dandy. Ooh, look, we have a line going up and down, and it's really all messed up, but we also see numbers, 1 all the way, and let's bring our number 4 back where we want it. We want that number 4 right there. 1 through number 7. But important thing is what the outside bands are going to do for us. First of all, our connectivity at top right hand corner, that's that little dot with it's connected. The branding is right there. So it asks me if I want to disconnect or stay connected. We're going to stay connected. The next one is very important. That's going to be how I want my numbers to interact. So if I press number 1, so I'm going to press number 1, it turns blue, just like that. Now I have options. I can either have it cut off, which is the first one. See how that dropped all the way down? Or I can have it so this way it only affects the EQ on the left side. So the right side will stay, only the left side is going to move. The right side stays still. See how it's just bending up and down on the left side of number 1? There you go. Now, if I put in the center position, number 1 is now going to interact on both left and right side. See that? Look at it bouncing like a basketball, just like that. And the same thing, guess what happens? We're going to do that. It's now only going to affect us on the right side. Look at that. A right side effect, left side staying right where it is. I'm going to put it back in the middle, so this way I can affect everything just like that. And there you go. That's how that looks. Now, again, the next one beside it is the frequency. So if I wanted to move that to exactly 200 Hertz, I can do that, hit done. And it's moved it right over 200 Hertz. And now I can drop it or increase it, do all that. So the next one is the actual bend. That's what we have here. So it's how tight that actual bend is going to be. So again, we can increase that and we can decrease that. So if we go 0.7, let's say 0.7, there's the actual overall arch. See how that rounded off the top? The lower the number gets, the more rounded it gets. That's what's going on right there. I mean, that's kind of cool. And then the last one is going to be the overall volume level. So again, if I move this up and down, I can preset this and go, oh, I want to have that at 3, hit done. And now the arch is all the way down there at 3. I can bring that down and up. And that's how that number interacts with everything else. Now, if we look on the actual unit on the far left and on the almost far right, so on the far left, there's only one black or gray slider. Then on the right side, there's two. There's a dark gray and a light gray slider. Now, the first one on the far left, we're going to be looking at our bass control because that's what it says at the bottom. And then on this side here, we get treble. And then all the way off to the side, we end up with our master volume. Again, that just gives us control. Now, the bass and treble and master volume are also located on the back of the speaker as well. So now what we're going to do is play a little music and show you how quick this interacts. This number 4 is not here for nothing. We're going to use this number 4 to slide all the way around the entire board. So you just like that, we're going to do that a little slower, of course, just so you can hear how that works and how that sounds.
With every field and rising sea, can hear the sounds of all, and with every change we'll always be where hope's not lost but found. It is all in our hands, it is all in our hands.
And that is how the app works. I mean, it's no more complicated than that. It's really nice. I like using it. It's that simple. Now, there's more you can do with the app. I don't know if I'm going to get it all in the video today because there's a lot of great things to learn. I am going to show you how you can turn off and on all 7 bands. We'll just use number 7 as a reference. So if I tap on number 7, there's a power button right up on top here, and that's on top right, and that turns off. So see how number 7 flattened out? So again, we'll turn that on because we're still on number 7. So notice all the other numbers are white. They're the ones that are not being affected. Number 7 is. So if I tap on number 5, now number 5 turns blue, and I can turn that one on and off simply by tapping on the power button on the right hand side. Now the entire EQ is affected by the power button on the actual left hand side, right there. So that is turning everything on and off just like that. It's as simple as that. And then there's a few more features at the very bottom of the app that we also want to cover just before we close. First, it's the location of the speaker. We'll see that at the bottom. Look at that. We've got pole mount, floor mount, wall mount. So you can choose, and you can actually hear the difference on how the actual speaker gets EQ'd by simply choosing the actual setups that are right here in front of us. Then there's stereo to master, can be left or right. We can choose that. That allows the other speaker to be the other option. Subwoofer cutoff is off right now. You can have that subwoofer cutoff to be wherever you want if you want a specific setting. And there you are. Like I said, we can cover just this all on its own when it comes to a video. So we can get into a whole nother video just on the app. It's that nice and that fun to use. But let's move on to some of the other features on the speakers, like the back of the speaker itself. So at the very top is our app and app option control, which we can control right here, no problem. And if we need to disable it, because of course we've been using it with the iPad, so we're going to press and hold, as it says here, hold master volume button to disable the app. So we're holding it down and it's going to disconnect. And there you go. It has disconnected from the unit. Now I could have done that from the app as well, by the way, not just from the actual speaker. This allows us to now have some capabilities and options right from the unit. Now we're going to see 2 outside dials. These are the only 2 of their digital knobs. Are going to be your bass and treble control, which are indicated on the left and right side down here. And if I press the menu, I can then go through the actual full menu options, which include everything from voice not saved options, pole mounting, subwoofer cutoff, stereo master link capabilities, DEI for stereo, in alt link. Now this is a big one. This is how the actual direct output is going to be controlled. That's right there. Now of course we are going to want to just basically do some normal functionality to it, and that is to use some of the basic functions that are all pre-built into it, or any ones that we've built through the app, which is amazing because yes, you do have 5 built-in options plus the ability to build another 5. Again, all the straight up functions, so if we want to change it from a pole mount to a wall mount, all those things are in the actual menu. So everything we were playing with before with the app is controlled here. Plus again, options that have to do with how we're going to use that stereo link. For the built-in options, the analog portions of the actual speaker are going to be channel 1, 2, and 3. So what do I mean by when I say 3? Well, we have 2 channels on 3. So it's not just a single. We've got a left and a right capability here, and on channel 1 and 2 we get options like mic, guitar, and line on both of those. That's why you see combo jacks here, so 3-pin XLRs or 1/4-inch jacks. Now I do have 2 speakers set up here. We have one set up here. This is going to be our actual main, our master speaker is this one right here, and the second speaker is set up in the link in mode. So I link out from this speaker here, and it goes out through a 25-foot XLR cable in my case to that second speaker. And by having this set into stereo mode, I'm ready to go. Now, the advantage here with the direct out is that I can set this direct out to either be a mono direct out. So I just want to go link out for my right speaker, keep this as my main left, and then my direct out could be for my one subwoofer, or I can choose to set this to match the actual speaker it's connected to. So in this case, this speaker being my left speaker, this would be left coming out of here, allowing me to add to another speaker or have its own dedicated subwoofer running just the left side. And this going out becoming my right speaker for my second, I can also set that one to be dedicated just to being right. That's simple. It's all about making this as smart and as easy as possible to use. Now remember, we haven't finished everything here because we still have options on channel 3 we didn't talk about. We've got Bluetooth, we've got AUX 3.5. We've got 2 balanced and unbalanced connections. I can either use as a single mono or plug into both 1/4-inch options to give me a true left and right option capability. So using the actual Bluetooth on the back of the speaker is very simple. All you need to do is make sure that you turn it on. You press the power button, it blinks. Remember, you've got 30 to 45 seconds to connect to it. If you don't connect to it, it will block it out. So this way nobody else can connect to it. It'll take care of that all on its own. Even though it's blinking, after 30 to 45 seconds, you cannot connect to this Bluetooth. Now remember, you can always just turn it off and turn it back on again if you want to reconnect to your phone or tablet. So Harbinger, just like a lot of other great companies out there when it comes to what they're doing with their box design, are putting a lot of angles in the box. They're putting a lot of different shapes into the box, pushing it in spaces, giving right angles where you need to be. They're reinforcing the box without adding extra material, which is very, very smart. This allows you to have a box that reacts more like plywood and less like old school hollowness, you know, knock knock, it sounds like plastic kind of boxes. They don't sound like that anymore. That's really important, and especially when you start pumping in a lot of power into it. I look at power speakers as 3 different stages. It's not good, better, best. It's just what you need to get going so you have good ample power to entertain a room. Then you get up a notch where you can add an extra 50 to 75 people into that given space. And then you kick it up another notch where you get to add another 50 to 75 people on top of that. You've hit the limit at that point. So if we were looking at 3 different power levels in our speakers, we'd be looking at, let's say from JBL for a good reference, you'd have the Eon, then you'd have the PRX, and then you'd have the SRX. And the same thing happens in Electro Voice, Mackie, a bunch of other companies do the same thing where they have, it's not good, better, best, it's just more powerful speaker ratings. So the dB level increases on each one, maybe about 5 or 10 dB, and that's allowing you to get an extra 50 to 75 people in that same space. Notice I didn't say how big the space is. I'm just saying we're adding more bodies, more density to that space. Because in my world, that's what I see it as. That's what it interprets into. Now, with the Harbinger, they have 2 lines. They have their V2000 series and they have their V4000 series. And they're covering, yes, both that first level and that second level. So now we're going to talk a little bit about where the Harbinger fits in this whole realm when it comes to price. So the most important benchmark that we're going to use here to decide where this fits in is the actual dB rating at 1 meter. That's important, right? Pink noise level across. Everybody seems to be measuring that properly or pretty close versus where the wattage comes from, because everybody is a little creative in the numbers, because it makes no sense when you compare the dB level of one model versus the dB level of the same brand in a different model. It doesn't make sense. So we're going to use the dB as the point of reference, and we'll also take mention of the frequency response and which they actually achieve this. We're going to start here, right here, with the Harbinger 4112 at 129 dBs. Frequency response is 35 to 22, $450. Remember that 35 to 22, by the way. The next one we're going to talk about is the Electro Voice ZLX 12BT. 126 dB. Frequency response 65 to 18. That's not even close. Price point is $500, so $50 more. The new Eon 712, 127 dB. Frequency response 60 to 20. 60 to 20, that's important. And price $550. The PRX 812, which, to be honest, the PRX 812W is more comparable to what's going on here. It's 135 dB. So yes, finally, we now have a speaker that is slightly more powerful than what's going on here. And the frequency response, 58 to 20 at $950. So yes, that's $500 more. The ELX 200 from Electro Voice. So that's the ELX 212P, 130 dB. So just a hair, a skosh. Ooh, just drop more than this. 1 dB more. But a frequency response of 57 to 16 at $800. Now, Harbinger with this speaker did want to have very good low-end response out of the box for the speaker. So you're definitely going to hear that in the speaker. Now, if they wanted to, they could have just compared to everybody else, came up with a number that frequency response was more like, 55 to 18, 55 to 19, that sort of thing. And they could have easily have squeaked out another 5 dB. They could have been 134 dB out of this if they would have done that. But because they're actually trying to get into a lower bass frequency and into a clear high-end frequency, it's costing them a little bit on the dBs. But look at that. We're talking $950 for the JBL PRX 812. And that one's 135 dB. So, I mean, let's compare it with, what $500 more gets you, the PRX 812. Now, I do love these speakers. There's no speaker on this list that I don't think is awesome, okay? Let's be honest about it. The PRX 812W, which is a wood cabinet speaker, 135 dB, 58 to 20. Now, again, I think if they took the PRX and decided to make it programmable so you can tweak it and have you pull it down to 35 and push it up to 22, we're definitely not going to see that 135 dBs. But you're still going to see that $950 price point versus $450. So there you go. That's just some speakers in comparison, in my book, to this speaker here. Harbinger comes with a good 2-year warranty to it, so I'm not going to dismiss it. Now, people always concern themselves with, they think of it as entry-level products and stuff like that, and it's not. I think that for a lot of people, Harbinger might be the first model, the first brand you buy, the first power speaker you get into. And because of that, you may accidentally push it too much. You're going to treat it more like a home theater system or a Bluetooth speaker or a party speaker that you may have. And PA speakers, which is what this is, you don't treat them the same. You don't just go straight up to the limit and say, okay, I'm going to back up a bit because that's what everybody tells you to do. I mean, technically speaking, that's as loud as you can get it. But really, you should be running your speakers at 65, 75%. You do want to give them headroom. This is an endurance race. When this goes out for a 4-hour gig, you want to make sure this speaker is not going to be exerting itself. If you think that you're not going to be playing to a crowd of 50 to 150 people, then you should be looking at something even more powerful than this. But then the price really gets up there because Harbinger doesn't have the next level up. You're either going to bring more speakers, maybe you'll get the next size up, or maybe you'll just end up at Guitar Center buying yourself some SRX or some ELX, something like that. Something that's going to cost you 3 times the price and generate you enough power. Now remember, eventually you're just going to need more than 2 speakers. That's just the way it is. Now there's all kinds of other things we're going to talk about this speaker, but for this video, I just wanted to introduce you to the app, introduce you to the speaker, Hello V4000 series, and to the price points and where this sits and how excited you should be. Because if you're looking at buying a new speaker right now and going forward, you should be looking at the V4000 series and making a decision if that's right for you or not. Now remember, they're not cheap. There's just no middleman with Harbinger. So as Harbinger goes, I mean, if you're following the brand, you know that it's a brand that you're going to find yourself buying at Guitar Center and all their related brands. That's very important. Harbinger has their own engineers, their own design team, they are completely responsible for creating a product that you and me are going to want to buy. That's their job. And they have to do it well because they're going to go into Guitar Center alongside all the other brands, and then you get to choose. It's not just what I say. It's what you hear when you go inside a store. It's the opportunity you get to shop in live, in person at your local store and say, I like that, and then be able to buy it. They still have to make you happy. And this, the V4000 series, once you realize all the stuff you can do with it, is going to blow you away because it sounds great next to all the other speakers. Don't think that this is the only one. We're going to have to do another video that compares this speaker with the 15-inch version of it, and then we're going to have to do videos on the 15. Hopefully we can get through a lot of different ways of looking at the speaker because there's more than just saying it's an awesome speaker. That's what today's video is all about. Show you the app. That's amazing because once you know how to use the app, the speaker is just going to blow you away when you listen to it. Hope this video helped you out today. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe options, all found down below. Don't forget to use the links. That's always important at any point in time. Maybe I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.